DV006. Title: MC Hammer blew $33 million in 5 years. Category: Horror Story Channel. Debt verdict: one song, $33 million. Gone. In 1990, MC Hammer was the biggest rapper on the planet. His album Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em sold over 18 million copies, making it the first hip-hop album to achieve diamond certification from the RIAA. The royalties poured in like a fire hose, $33 million in just a few years. By 1996, he was standing in a bankruptcy courtroom in Oakland, California, owing more than everything he had. This is the story of how one man burned through and through a fortune so fast that even his accountants couldn't keep up. Stanley Kirk Burrell grew up in East Oakland. His family was poor. His father was a warehouse manager. His mother was a secretary. He used to hang around the Oakland Coliseum parking lot, dancing for tips from baseball fans. That hustle caught the attention of Oakland Athletics owner Charlie Finley, who gave the young kid a job as a clubhouse assistant. The players started calling him Little Hammer because he looked like Hank Aaron. That kid from the parking lot grew up to change hip-hop forever. When You Can't Touch This dropped in January 1990, it didn't just chart, it detonated. The single peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 and won 2 Grammy Awards. The album behind it moved over 18 million units worldwide. At 27 years old, MC Hammer had more money than he could count, and that was exactly the problem. The spending started immediately, and it was staggering. Hammer purchased a mansion in Fremont, California for approximately $30 million. Not a house, a compound. The property sprawled over 40,000 square feet. It had gold-plated gates, 2 swimming pools, a baseball diamond, a recording studio, a 17-car garage. But the house was just the beginning. MC Hammer employed a full-time entourage of roughly 200 people. Bodyguards, dancers, personal assistants, friends from the old neighborhood, family members. The payroll for this army of associates reportedly cost him $500,000 every single month. That's $6 million a year, just to keep people around him. He bought racehorses. He leased private jets. He wore custom outfits that cost tens of thousands of dollars. According to court documents and media reports from the era, Hammer was spending money at a rate that would have drained even a billionaire's bank account. Here's what people don't understand about celebrity wealth. $33 million sounds like an infinite amount of money. But it's not. After taxes, management fees, agent commissions, and legal costs, that $33 million was probably closer to $15 or $16 million in take-home cash. And Hammer was spending like he had $33 million every year, not once in a lifetime. His follow-up albums didn't come close. Too Legit to Quit in 1991 sold reasonably well, but nowhere near the first album's numbers. By 1994, his third album, The Funky Headhunter, was a commercial disappointment. The revenue stream that was supposed to fund his lifestyle had slowed to a trickle, but the spending never slowed down, not once. On April 1, 1996, MC Hammer filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Northern District of California. The numbers told a brutal story. According to the bankruptcy filing, Hammer listed debts of approximately $13.7 million against assets of $9.6 million. He was underwater by over $4 million. The creditor list read like a phone book. He owed the Internal Revenue Service millions in back taxes. He owed money to lawyers, contractors, and business associates. And then there was the personal debt. Court records showed that Hammer owed approximately $500,000 to NFL legend Deion Sanders, reportedly a personal loan that was never repaid. He owed money to dozens of other individuals and companies. The Fremont